All right, I think we're live. I am super excited to have this conversation. We're going to talk video marketing for financial advisors, and I have two who have cracked the code and have had a lot of success with video marketing. Brittney, I want to start with you because I followed you before you even knew me. I mean, I remember way back when you were posting. I saw a hip hop video.
I was gonna say my rap video. You remember that?
I'm an OG. Yeah, I do remember that. But I remember following you and I was like, wow, she gets it. And this was back before social media was even a big play for financial advisors. I was like, he gets it. She's ahead of the curve. So, Brittney, if you could just introduce yourself, to the audience, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I'm Brittney Castro. I'm a CFP. I've been in the financial industry for about 15 years. It's been a journey. Started at Ameriprise, went to LPL Financial, then launched my own RIA. And throughout all that time, I was when I launched my RIA, I started to create content, YouTube content, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, calling the compliance team every day, telling them why they should approve my content. And then I also, when I was running my RIA, was working with a lot of great brands to create content as a spokesperson, brand ambassador. So I worked with a company called Next Gen Startups, where I got a lot of media training, hosting events, doing media interviews. That led to Chase. I worked with Chase as a spokesperson for 3 years, and I worked with Mint for 3 years, Intuit, Altruist. I sold my practice in 2020, launched a coaching program to teach financial advisors how to do video marketing, social media marketing, because that's how I grew my RA and that's how I attracted clients for 8 years. And then recently I started selling life insurance again. And then I took a role as head of education at Signal Advisors, which is very exciting. So it's a great fit because all my experience in finance, insurance, running a business, doing marketing, working with brands, I'll get to take and help build out a lot of their education content for advisors, help with their social media strategy. Honestly, it's like a really great fit and great chapter. So I'm very excited. So I've done a lot over the years, but I do believe in video marketing. I'll always believe in it because it's how I built a business and built my brand, and it's allowed me to have so much success and a lot of opportunities that I didn't even know existed when I started. So I think there's just huge opportunity for financial advisors still to do video marketing, online marketing, to grow their business, grow their brand, have a solid reputation in the industry.
And you're too modest to say it, but you're a pioneer. I mean, again, you were doing it the right way. You were TikTok before there was TikTok.
I know, and now I see TikTok and I'm like, oh, that would have been so fun if if we had that when I started, because I also dance, so I was like, oh, this would have been fun.
Well, and we will talk about salsa dancing.
Yes.
Joe, so we have worked together. I've known you for several years, and you over the past, you tell me when you started it. I mean, you went head down into this creative video marketing system, and I'm one of your biggest fans, obviously. Talk to me about your background and what made you just go right into video marketing.
Yeah, so kind of a similar start to Brittney. I started in 2008 after some internships for other financial advisors. So I knew I wanted to be in this business, and I was at Ameriprise for, I think it was like 8 weeks. I got my licenses and then also made the jump to LPL, worked with a more established group, kind of learned about the business rather than just calling, my aunts and uncles trying to do, grow the business that way. I want to learn how to do it. So went to LPL, grew my practice. And I'll tell you what really got me interested in the video marketing was, I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was like 2018 or 2017, something like that. I was invited to speak to a group of first responders, and there were, I think, 80 people in the audience, and I was going to do some basic financial planning concepts, just a quick 20-minute little presentation. And it took a few hours of coordinating the time, figuring out what we're going to talk about. You show up, you talk, you're there the whole event, even though you're not talking the whole time. And then at some point later, I did a video, and I can't tell you why. I think it was one of those, I just kept hearing people were doing social media and video. So I said, well, maybe we should do it too. And I had 400 views on that first video, and it was nothing to write home about. And it made me think. I said, well, I just spent hours of my time talking to 80 people in a room, whereas I shot this quick video. It was maybe like 1 or 2 minutes, something like that. And I had 400 pairs of eyes watching it, watching me talking about something financial planning related, me as an advisor. And I thought that's kind of the power of what you can do with social media. You keep doing it consistently, you get a bigger audience, more eyeballs, and eventually that just leads to more opportunity was kind of my thinking back then.
Yeah. Well, and let's pivot into talking about how to practically implement a video strategy. Because I'm a PR practitioner who works with a lot of financial advisors. I've had some who will drop 2 videos and they'll say, all right, nobody watched them. It didn't work. Let's move on to the next thing. And they, spend money on the, it's endless. And you guys know. So, Joe, how do you build consistency? How did you just head down determine this was going to be the strategy?
I would like to tell you that it was one part of a global big, initiative with my practice, but I just kind of stumbled into it. I was like, it was me and Mike, who's still with me, another advisor here, and we were sitting in my office and we would just kind of go through different ideas. And I said, you know what? I think we need to do video. I don't know how, but everybody's saying, I'm starting to hear it. I don't really see a whole lot of it on like social media yet. And it was, we had an umbrella. That was our first tripod. Yeah. So it was an umbrella with the camera and Mike's like kind of holding it like this. So you watch the video and it's like shaking and it was terrible. And I had no idea what to talk about. I don't know what to do with my hands. It was very awkward. So if you watch videos now, hopefully it looks a little bit more natural. But what I can tell you is that there wasn't some grand plan. I was like, let's just start it and then we'll figure it out as we go and we'll hopefully get better because I don't think we could have gotten any worse the way that we started. And it's just kind of evolved over time. Brian, it's interesting. He said, advisors they'll love throwing money at marketing, but then they don't want to do anything other than just throw money at it and expect it to work. And I can say that because I'm an advisor and I've done that probably over the years in different ways. But you can't go to the gym and lift weights 2 times and expect to have, be ready for the beach, right? Good things happen with consistency over time, just like probably what we preach to clients. It's, good habits compounded over time yield these different results for you.
Yeah. And we'll get back to, the results that you've seen. Brittney, again, you started out, you were video marketing before any advisors were, maybe there were some, not many. But you were out on YouTube and other channels before any advisor saw that as a credible system to market. Talk about your story.
Yeah, so it's interesting for me. I saw fashion and beauty bloggers creating content and I thought, why I want to do that and why can't I do that for finance? And so I just found a way to work through. At that time it was with LPL, like the compliance regulations of social media marketing. But also I really was not good at writing. Like I didn't want to write a blog about a Roth IRA conversion. I was like, just if you ask me the question, I could tell you so easily, but to write a blog about it seemed torturous. So I was like, I'll just start making videos because it's one, so much easier for me. And it's what's trending in social media and online marketing right now. So it was like the opportunity was there. It was a better fit for just how I wanted to create content. And so I think I just ran with it and did everything I could to leverage as much video content early on as possible. And you're right, there was only a few people doing it at that time. And I remember calling them and asking how to go around compliance. But I saw other industries, other spaces doing it. So I thought, why is finance so behind all the time? It's like law and finance is always like the last to get up to speed with marketing. And I know there's a lot of legal and compliance restrictions, but still, we're trying to run a business. I'm trying to get clients. Why can't I leverage online marketing to do that? And just like you were saying, Joe, to me, it was like a no-brainer. Why would I spend an hour driving somewhere to talk to 10 people, then an hour driving home when I could just throw up a video? And it's so much easier and more time efficient for me. So, and I think you're spot on with the consistency. It's what I preach even now. Like really for 10 years, I haven't stopped creating content. Sometimes when I'm making transitions or like leaving one social media manager to another, there's like a little time delay in which we don't post as much because we're launching all new content or a new strategy. But really, it's been consistent for over 10 years now. And you have to, like Joe, like you can't just go to the gym and say, okay, great, I want my 6-pack. And I know a lot of advisors, I think they're starting to come around, definitely after the pandemic, seeing all the virtual business, what we had to do. But yeah, you really have to just organize a strategy. And that's what I teach a lot in my speaking sessions, and what I was teaching in my coaching program is just like anything, it has to be a system, and you just do the system and look up 6 months from now and see what's working, what's not working, refine. But you got to commit. You have to at least commit to 6 months before you see any results. So usually it'll happen sooner. You'll start to see results, but I always say, let's be realistic. Any marketing plan will take good 6 months before you really build traction. And then once you can see what's working and not working, and refine as you go. And the same is true with social media, video marketing.
So a lot of financial advisors, people listening right now are kind of risk averse when it comes to marketing. They don't want to offend. They want to be everything to everyone. They don't want to alienate potential clients. You are two marketers who have really found your niche, and not to say that you're alienating anybody, but you're embracing your own passions, you're embracing your own personas and owning it. And that's something I try to preach to clients. Embrace yourself. Can you turn somebody off? Of course. Anything you say can turn somebody off. But when you say and do the things that mean something to you, you can bring in the people you want to work with in the first place. Joe.
Brian, if
comment.
To piggyback on that, my comment for that would be video or just any social media is a different form of public speaking, which is, like the number 2 fear or whatever, top 3. Because you put yourself out there and you're afraid of looking stupid or sounding dumb or people just not liking, your haircut or whatever it is that head trash is for a lot of people. And I know one of my hangups was with these videos. I'm like, I don't know, my client's going to think, what is Joe doing? This is so goofy. Why is he taking videos of himself? And, and I don't know if anybody else has those thoughts, but I just did it anyway. I said, well, you know what? This is who I am. I'm going to put it out there. We'll see what happens. And the opposite, people, like most times we build something up in our mind and it's usually not as bad as it seems. Clients really appreciated it and enjoyed it. I think they want to hear from their advisors more and more. It doesn't mean, every week we're calling to check up, but if we send them a video or if they see, our social media presence, it's top of mind, which helps from a business standpoint with referrals. The more you can kind of stay up in people's, at the top of their mind, it helps when that opportunity presents itself. But I had one other point I wanted to make with the social media thing, but I lost it. So people are always rooting for folks when you put yourself out there. Oh, I know what it was. I found it. The thought is, well, what if people don't like the way that I talk or the way that I am or my sense of humor or whatever it is? Well, if that's the case, they're probably not going to be a good fit for your practice anyway. And the benefit is you don't have to go through an hour-long discovery meeting with them to find out this isn't a good fit. They self-select out. It's efficient for both people. And what happens is you get a group of people that are watching the content you're putting out, and they're like, hey, I like this guy, I like this girl. I think, maybe they can help me with what some of the things that they're talking about. And then when they do finally reach out and you have that conversation, they're kind of ready to go. You don't have to start from scratch and try to build that trust completely from ground zero. So it helps weed out the people that you really don't want to work with anyway and maybe aren't a good fit, because not everybody's a good fit, there's a lot of benefit to that. But it also leads to more opportunities of people that like what you have to say and the way that you say it, and they want to work with you.
Yeah. Well, and that's my experience. And again, I'm not an advisor. I work with a lot of advisors. But, Joe, exactly what you said. I mean, when you put your persona out there and just let people know who you are, the real view of you, you tend to attract the people you want to work with and deflect the people you probably would never want to work with. Brittney, what's been your experience with that? With marketing?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in niching and creating original content, and so that your voice comes through, your personality comes through, your uniqueness comes through. And at the end of the day, it's a relationship business. People want to work with someone they like and trust. So why hide that? And it is awkward. Like Joe, I still get awkward sometimes when I'm changing my video strategy and I have to make a new version of the video because of what's trending. I'm like, oh, this is so weird, and I've done videos for 10 years. So I don't know. I always tell people too, it's not like you of course you get better and you learn, and it's not as weird, but still sometimes it feels uncomfortable because you're doing something different and new. But the idea is to push through that. And a lot of times in the coaching program I ran, I'd just be telling advisors, just make 10 videos and get them up. Because once you get over that, it's more about the muscle of making them consistently and then refining your own uniqueness as you go. And that takes time. It's like a creative process. So there's a rhythm that you'll find that's comfortable for you. And I think a big part of the world now, I mean, things are different. The pandemic changed a lot. We were seeing people's homes and Zoom. So it's we don't have to put so many barriers and walls as if we're not human and we're just these professional financial people. People like to know that you're human too. And yes, of course, you're going to be professional in your videos, but don't be afraid to show your personality. And now more than ever, it's so accepted online, almost to the point where it's sometimes too much. Okay, let's put some boundaries again and make these videos professional. But everyone's going to find their own ratio of comfort, how much they want to show or of their personality or personal lives online. Just because you're online doesn't mean you need to then expose everything. I don't believe in that either. Keeps some things private and personal. That's good. But I think with the financial advisors, it's so, to me, easy to stand out online because it's very apparent who's creating content, who's not, and then who's doing it in a way that's relatable and engaging and who's not, So if you just added a little flair of yourself, it's going to show very well online because a lot of people are still creating the original same boring content, templated, websites and everything that, to me, I think like even 10 years later, there's so much opportunity for financial advisors to get clients, get recognition, and then do it. To me, video marketing is like one of the most cost efficient ways to market. And even for high net worth clients, I mean, high net worth clients are also online watching content. So it's not just like, I think a lot of people like to think, oh, well, my clients aren't online, or, they're the baby boomers are not online. I don't know. My parents, who are baby boomers, spend a lot of time online watching content. So everybody is online, all the generations. Now, where your demographic is, where your niche is, might then have you lean more to one platform over another, maybe Facebook more than Instagram, or LinkedIn more than Facebook, depending on your niche. But you still shouldn't like come in with that mindset, well, my people aren't online. Yeah, they are. I guarantee you they are.
Yeah. I heard from an advisor at a conference a couple of years ago, and they post a lot of canned content, the weekly market commentary, stuff like that. And he said, look, I'm not, the way I remember it, he said, I don't have the time or all these different things that we say, but people, if they get your name referred by a neighbor or whatever, they're going to look you up online.
First thing. Yeah.
And even if it's not me being super creative, I at least want to curate the topics that they find. If they find me on LinkedIn, they look at my name, they see LinkedIn, oh, it's active. He's talking about distribution strategies, or I don't know, whatever stuff that they're putting out. So I want to make sure I am pushing stuff out that people can see, and that helps. As if they get 3 different financial advisors and 2 have a heavy online presence, well, that might be the only 2 because they're like that they reach out and have a meeting with. And if you're that 3rd person, you might never get a step at the plate, and you don't even know it just because you don't have online. So it's really hard to run like 2 horses in the race, because we're only living one life at a time, and you don't know what the potential could be, by utilizing social media marketing versus not. You only know what you are doing. You don't have that benefit of comparison.
So we're gonna keep this to a half hour. We got like an 8-minute blitz. Brittney, as far as practical strategy, advisors who may have dabbled in video marketing or are currently invested in it, what are the top 3 points they should do to see some success?
Okay, so you really have to create a strategy, right? It's a marketing strategy. Just because we put video in front of it or social in front of it doesn't take away the fact that it's a marketing strategy. So it needs to be thought out. So to me, look at 2024. What is the strategy? First things first, who are you trying to attract? What is the ideal client? What do they want? What are they watching? What are you offering them that could solve their problems? So really define all of that. Then to me, also get very clear about your branding. Like, what is it going to visually look like? I'm a stickler for this because I think this is actually sometimes more important than the content you say itself, because in those first 3 seconds, someone's coming to your website, like Joe said, they're going to say, oh, referred Brittney Castro, let me look up Brittney Castro, and they're going to get a vibe from your online presence. They're going to either gravitate toward it or not, but they might say like, oh, this is like, I can't find anything on this person. So what is the colors? What is the feeling, the aesthetic of your brand? That should translate in the videos and the social media. So everything is aligned. I see a lot of advisors, they're like pushing out content. You go back to the website, it's like, what? This like doesn't match at all, right? So you have to have that funnel. So when someone comes, watches something, then they come to your website, maybe click on, this is what I did, click to book a meeting. It's a flow. It's a very branded. Then map out how often are you going to be creating content and what platforms. So don't go too aggressive. If you're going from 0 to 100, chances are it's not going to be sustainable. So start slow. 1 time a week, 2 times a week, you're going to be posting a video or video and a graphic. And then leverage that, as much as you can. Sometimes there's compliance restrictions, but if you can put it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, post it everywhere, because one piece of content can be leveraged across all platforms. And then also that just helps SEO organically. You can even put that on your blog, if you have a blog, or in your email newsletters, like monthly email newsletters. Hey, check out this new video I just did, or go to my Instagram and watch the latest videos. So have that schedule. And then you really have to figure out, how are you going to batch content? Because you can't put a strategy in place and then be like, oh, today's Monday, I don't really feel like making content, so I'm not gonna, we're not posting content this week, or I got busy with meetings or deadlines. No, it has to be thought out and mapped out. So let's say once a month you're creating the content. What is it going to be? Like if you're posting twice a month or twice a week, what are those 8 videos or topics going to be? Next week, film it. If you're making all videos, right? Just make 8 videos in one day. Boom. Next week, get it to the editor, get it all ready, scheduled, and then you have a month in advance of content. So it should be organized in a way that you're not in the moment saying, oh God, I got to make a video. It's Monday. I'm supposed to post a video on Monday. No, it's a marketing strategy, just like you plan a webinar or a workshop or in-person, seminar. You have to kind of work backwards and just commit to it. And I think that's the biggest part, committing for that 6 months. But if you do it, chances are you're going to see results. And then I always tell advisors, please don't start if you're not going to commit. It's better not to start, because it looks worse. Because think of it, it's like my news channel, it's my brand. It looks worse if Brittney's posting sporadically. Oh, she threw a video up here, haven't heard from her in 2 months. Oh, there's another video. This is weird. You want to have a reputable brand online where people see you as a thought leader and expert. They're going to tune in. What is Brittney saying today? She's annoying, but it's okay. At least it's helpful. And if I want to learn about life insurance, I know I'm going to go to Brittney eventually. But right now, I don't really need to see what she's talking about. But I see that she's posting consistently over there. So it's kind of like, to me, you want to be a little bit annoying sometimes with your marketing on social media. And I think that is a roadblock. People think like, oh, I don't want to be a pest or something. No, you have to, because again, you got to stand out online, and they're seeing so much content that just because you're posting 3 times a week doesn't mean they're seeing all your posts anyway. So don't worry about that part. Just get your systems organized and commit to it. And then from there, figure out what's working, what's not working, and refine as you go.
And Joe, I mean, your strategy, I'm obsessed with your strategy. So
Yay.
What practical advice do you have for advisors? I mean, I'm sure you have advisors who reach out to you and are like, dude, how do you do this?
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I'm more of the creative type, is what I've kind of learned through this process. Like, I enjoy that storytelling and all that. So I think that kind of helps gear me towards some of the content that we put out. But for an advisor that's considering social media or video or whatever it is, trying to add something new to get the word out there, I would say, why are you doing it? And if the answer is because that's what somebody told me I'm supposed to do, you really got to, that's not going to be strong enough to get you to keep doing that consistency that Brittney's talking about, which is so important. So there's got to be a good reason, right? And then the other part is, if you just get started making social media content in any form of originality, it's going to be the worst it ever will be, right? If you think back to when you first started being a financial planner, like, I'm sure you're much, much better now after having some experience. It's no different. You got to skin your knees a little bit as you learn to ride the bike. You find stuff that works, you find stuff that doesn't. One thing I don't do is I don't get too wrapped up in the metrics. Like, I'm not following my views or my clicks or whatever. And I try to have fun with it, because if I'm not enjoying at least part of what we're doing, I'll find a way to avoid it. Like so many other things in life that I'm probably avoiding because I just don't enjoy it, So try to have fun with it, create some framework, but give yourself some grace. And I think that'll help you keep up with the consistency to kind of build it over time.
Yeah. I know we got a few questions. Brittney, if anybody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, come to BrittneyCastro.com and you can see all my social media sites. You can follow me, click around on the website, see what I'm doing over there. But yeah, I always respond to messages, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram. So whatever you prefer.
And Joe, how about you?
So our website is hartfordretirement.com. And then probably most people I usually connect with on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Joe Conroy, CFP, I think's the handle. So that's how we can connect. And I'm happy to, message anybody sends me a DM. I'm happy to share everything that we're doing and help others if I can.
Awesome. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Reach out to Brittney, reach out to Joe, reach out to me. Video marketing is the way right now for financial planners if you do it right. So, I hope you learned some things. And again,
one final thought, if I may, is I see a comment here. Know, like, and trust. That's the name of the game in the financial planner business.
Yeah.
And putting content out, people might start to know of you because they see your name pop up. And then if they follow along, they start to build this relationship, even though you're not having an actual conversation. And people will eventually start to get to like you. They get your sense of humor, or they don't, or whatever it might be. And then eventually, you hope that you can grow that into trusting, to be their trusted financial advisor and helping them accomplish their goals. So the social media thing really streamlines that know, like, trust process, and you can multiply it over as big an audience as you can find yourself talking to.
Yep. No, 100%. Well, thank everybody for tuning in. Brittney, Joe, we got to do this again.
Thanks for having us. Very fun.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.